Hi everyone, I am Camille Miller of the Natural Life Business Partnership, and you are joining us today on NLBP TV. Our topic today is what is Ayurveda and what can it do for you? Our guest today is Dr. Somesh Kaushik, the owner and chief medical practitioner of Dr. Kaushik's Ayurvedic and Naturopathic Clinic in Cross River, New York. His practice has been in existence for over 35 years. Dr. Kaushik is one of the most experienced Ayurvedic physicians in North America and is a recipient of the Don Wantry Award in his profession. It's the highest honor. Thank you so much, Dr. Kaushik, for joining us today.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
So I'd love to have you start with, well, I should start by saying Dr. Kaushik, and they call him Dr. K, is one of our members of NLBP, and we had met him because he hosted an event. Well, it's probably been like 3 months now, right? It was over the summer, it seems like. Seems like it was very warm. Yeah.
Right.
And I met you, and you were talking a little bit about your practice and how you got started and how you brought it here. And it was just really fascinating. So I thought it would be terrific to have a member spotlight on you and have you talk a little bit about your practice and the medicine and everything that you bring to us. So I do thank you for coming on today and taking the time to, meet with our listeners. So just so you know, this is audio as well as video. So we have the video podcast that's on NLBP TV on our YouTube channel. And we also have the audio, which goes out to our podcast and is syndicated all over the place. So the only thing I say is don't hold up anything, because unless you explain what it is, because the people that are listening to us in their car can't see it. So I just want to start off with what is Ayurveda? Can you just explain for the general public and those who have never heard of it, what it is?
Yes, Ayurveda actually is a Sanskrit word. It is the oldest system of medicine. And in Sanskrit, Ayur means life, Veda means knowledge. So the combination is the knowledge of the science of knowledge or science of life. Basically, you're looking at a system of health which starts even before life and continues even after life, which means it covers almost everything you can encounter in life. So the main goal of Ayurveda is to maintain balance, physical balance, emotional balance, spiritual balance, basically balance in life all the time. So the foundation of Ayurveda comes into the 5-element theory. And Ayurveda started almost 5,000 years ago. Some text says 5,000, some says 10,000, but it is old. So it started in India by the sages of India at that time to make sure human beings are healthy. Some of the things were made part of daily life. So the goal was to maintain balance so that you are healthy all the time. It traveled from India to Tibet, became Tibetan system of medicine. From Tibet to China with Buddha, and became Oriental system or Chinese system of medicine. But the foundation is the same. So it is a knowledge of life or science of life which helps individuals to stay healthy and in balance.
And as I understood it, Ayurveda uses a patient's body type. So it's different for each individual. Is that correct?
Each individual is considered unique in Ayurveda.
Okay.
So the foundation comes in 5-element theory, which means there are 5 great elements which everything is made of. So universal elements are space, air, fire, water, and earth. Combination of those 5 make 3 body types. We call doshas. So 3 doshas. First dosha is vata, which is the combination of space and air is vata dosha. Then the second one is pitta dosha, which is combination of fire and water. And third one is the kapha dosha, which is a combination of water and earth. So that makes 3 body types. All of us have all 3, which means when we look at the water and earth, which makes basically mud, that creates the structure. So all the bones, all the ligaments, the tissue, the fat, what we look like, the appearance come from kapha. The combination of water and fire are the 2 strongest sources of energy, makes pitta. So pitta controls chemical reactions, metabolism, enzymes, hormones. whatever I react or whatever we react to, like our reaction inside the body is controlled by Pitta. Whereas the first one will be Vata, which is a combination of space and air. And as the air is the only thing moving, that controls movement. So Vata controls movement in the body. And movement could be external or internal. In external movement would be the way I walk, the way I talk, the way I blink my eyes, everything externally. Internal movement would be circulation, for example, blood circulation, which is cardiovascular system, motor and sensory pathways, which is the nervous system, gas exchange in the lungs and gas exchange in the body cells, movement of food from mouth to anus. So whatever is moving inside the body is controlled by Vata. So Vata controls movement and circulation, Pitta controls chemical reactions and metabolism, and the Kapha controls all the, give the structure. So all of us have all three. But the combination of these in different percentage makes us unique. One person may have more Kapha than Pitta or Vata. One person may have more Pitta than Vata or Kapha. One person may have more Vata than Pitta or Kapha. Or one person may have one of these more than secondary and the third. So based on that, the body types are mentioned into combination of two. Like for example, Vata Pitta. The main is Vata, maybe 50% Vata, 30% Kapha, and then whatever is left in the is Vata. So Vata Pitta or Pitta Kapha or Vata Kapha. So basically combination of those are differently. And in considering that, we have roughly 27 different type of body types. So basically combination makes each individual unique. Even though I can say that one's body type or dosha is Pitta Kapha, but then within that combination, each individual who have the same body type is also different. Some have little bit more Pitta, little more Pitta, 50%, 40%, 49%. So a practitioner who is well trained can check the pulse and look at the tongue and can at that point determine how much and how high the each dosha is.
Okay, so that was actually going to be my next question. How do you tell? So, and each one is treated differently depending on what they are. And can it change over a lifetime, or what you are is you are for the rest of your life? Like, because your body type, can it change? Like, say, you know, you're heavy, but then you become thin or something like that?
See, in your body, which means when you have imbalance, when you are not in balance because of many factors, internal or external, then it will change. We call the Vikriti, which is imbalance. So goal would be to bring it back to where you started. So when we are young and healthy, 18, 19, 20, 25 years of age, that becomes our base. That's what we are growing up with. That's what we are born with. And you try to bring it back there. So what we see later on as a Vikriti or imbalance, the goal would be to bring it back to what we were originally.
So how does Ayurveda restore balance?
So how do they restore balance? First thing is with the diet. So basically, there are three ways of treatment. We call Ahar, Vihar, and Oshadhi, which means Ahar means the food. So food is medicine. So first thing we look at is what you eat. You are what you eat. We always say that. But in this case, we're trying to find the food which matches with your body type, which you grew up with, which makes you healthy and balanced, and again, your nutritional values are coming from that particular food. Then that is the food you need. So food is medicine. Then we're looking at the vihar, which means your lifestyle. So for example, if somebody is dealing with insomnia or dealing with some other problem, which are dealing with not getting all the damage repair, night shift, then how would the person sleep? So in this case, the lifestyle also makes a difference. And then eventually comes the Oshadhi, which means the medicine or supplement. And the supplements are also selected or chosen based on each individual's body type. So with similar symptoms, different individuals may be taking different combination of herbal medicine. But to go back to your previous question, a well-trained Ayurvedic practitioner or physician can check the pulse and look at the tongue and determine from there what your body type would be. And based on that, everything is tailored just for you, for your personal level, for at your individual level.
Okay. So Ayurveda, does it use herbs and different spices to utilize these treatments as well?
Well, the
Is that
sage,
something that you give when you're also talking about supplements? So
the supplement, basically the combination of herbal preparation, which they are called supplements. But in
okay,
general, what is happening when we were starting Ayurveda, especially in this country, a lot of supplements were not available. Now Ayurveda is becoming very popular, and there are hundreds of companies who are making Ayurvedic supplements in this country also.
okay,
So those are becoming more popular. In the beginning, we used to use only powders and decoctions or teas. Now they are available in capsule form for basically uh, because it's easy to take, and tablets are also available. Of course, the teas of all different types, different brands, different types are available. But in originally we were using those. So sages of India originally made certain herbs part of our daily life. So when you're looking at a typical Indian kitchen, then you have a kitchen pharmacy. Turmeric is well known now, and the turmeric, these were not foods for daily use, but they introduced those to the common household so
oh,
that it is in your kitchen, and you are taking a small dosage of preventive medicine every day. For
I
example,
see.
turmeric is, which is popular as a golden herb, and are used as curcumin, and in inflammatory reaction or inflammation, this is one of the well-known herb at this point. And so it's well-known anti-inflammatory, basically antihistamine, antiseptic, antibiotic. So it is all in one. So
I
it's
see.
considered in Ayurveda that when there's nothing available, a child gets hurt outside, then you put turmeric on their wound when it's bleeding. Also take half teaspoon or 1 teaspoon, depending on how big or small the child is, and mix that with warm milk and let them drink. So that becomes your antibiotic. So it's antibiotic and antiseptic both. When somebody have allergic reactions because something they ate, something might, then the turmeric is given because at that time it was antihistamine. So it is a multi-purpose herb, and that was introduced as the first herb into the kitchen pharmacy. So that is used in all the cooking. And then you have cumin seed, which are really good for digestion. And then they have basically fenugreek, which is good for balancing sugar level. People do like to eat sweets. Desserts are always there. So when you're eating that, then something is eaten every day to balance the function in your insulin levels, basically balance function of your pancreas so that insulin is produced at an adequate amount so to compensate for all the sweet you have eaten. So certain things are made part of the daily living. Fenugreek is there. You have cumin seeds are there. Ajwain seeds are there. Coriander is there. So certain herbs were made part of the daily living so that people can start taking them. There are many others which are kept there in case we need them. And the issues is that certain are recommended. For example, ashwagandha is adaptogen. In the modern lifestyle, since stress is in every person's life, and again, is rarely you'll find somebody who has no stress. So it's recommended you take ashwagandha every day so that not only you have the energy and the ability to handle stress properly, plus also it helps you adapt to the circumstances, and also it induces good sleep. So certain herbs are part of daily life, and certain herbs are recommended for everyone on daily basis.
So I was introduced to golden milk maybe a year ago. Is
Okay?
that part, and it has the turmeric in it, which I had never heard, and I had the concoction to help me sleep better.
Right.
And it actually, well, one, it tastes good, but it also is very like soothing and helped me sleep through the night. Is that part, or is that remedy Ayurvedic at its base too? Is that where it
Yes,
comes from?
golden milk is actually is an Ayurvedic remedy where you start with basically, again, when you look at the turmeric, which is we could sell the golden herb, and that's why it's the golden milk.
Uh-huh.
When you look at the turmeric, it has many functions, so you can use that almost for everybody. But again, for absorbing turmeric, you have to have some fat with it, or you have to have black pepper, or you have
Mhm.
to have bromelain with it. But either you can buy bromelain, but in household it was used as with the milk, and milk has fat, so the absorption is much better. It becomes a carrier. So in traditional, it was used as a basically golden milk. You boil milk with the turmeric, and depending on the body type, you can add, if somebody's kapha body type, then the pinch of black pepper is also added there, And if you are trying to get more nutrition in the Pitta person or even Kapha person, you may add a little bit of saffron. If you're somebody, child who is concerned about more taste, and you can chop 1 or 2 dates into it. And basically, date is good tasting. It have fiber. It have the rest of enzyme, and plus it is sweet, so you can change the taste. If somebody who is vata and very weak and is trying to gain a little bit of weight, then you can blend 3-4 almonds in the milk, and then becomes even more tasty and more nutritious.
So does someone in the Indian culture, does like a family, they would all have different types? Would they each supplement for their own body type at a single meal? Like, well, in this case, to change things around a little bit?
Yeah. So basically, like I said before, food is medicine. So in traditional Indian cooking, Ayurveda was blended so much that even nowadays people don't even understand they're using a Ayurvedic lifestyle when they're cooking at home. So condiments are used. We call them chutneys. So chutneys are different types, and pickles. So they, in the table, traditional table, you will find a mango pickle, a lime pickle, and you will find some other ginger pickle, garlic pickle, and a turmeric pickle. So those pickles are there. And with that, you will make chutneys. So mom will make a coriander chutney, a tamarind chutney, a mint chutney. So, and those chutneys one could be very spicy with a lot of jalapenos, and could be mild. So tamarind chutney is cooling, whereas when you're making a chutney with mint or coriander with a lot of jalapenos, a lot of spices, more warming. So those are always there. And each individual in the family, based on their body type, was introduced in the beginning that this is something good for you. That's what you should eat. So that is how, even though food is same for everybody, you can't cook 10 different dishes for 10 individuals in the family. But again, those condiments are helpful depending on who the person is and what kind of body type they.
Wow, that's pretty fascinating, actually. So for the type of diet, I'm sorry. I was going to say the type of diet, is it always vegetarian? Does it have to be?
Not really.
Okay.
Like I mentioned, we keep using the same thing again. Food is medicine. So different types of food are used depending on the body type. And food is used as medicine also. There are some conditions when meat is important. So for example, if somebody coming with ALS and then at that time looking for very warming food, in this case, if the person is willing to eat meat, then pigeon's meat is recommended. So we find different meats. So Ayurveda have very extensive literature and explanation of different types of meat, why they're used and how much they are used and what combinations are used and what herbs should be used to cook them. So same thing with the milks, different milks, what milk should be used and why should they be used for each individual. Mm-hmm. What grains should be used and why, and what vegetable. So depending on the individual, and if they're willing to, if they can eat meat, of course, meats are important. Again, they're used as medicine. In general, this is not recommending because, again, meat has so much protein. If you're not a physically active person, then your body is not able to absorb or digest them properly. If you're somebody who is going to be sitting in the office and working on your desk all day and not much physical work, then you should be eating food which are easy to digest, easy to absorb. And that's where the traditional vegetarian diet came, because you're going to be more soup-based diet, more lighter diet, because you're not moving around. But if somebody is working hard and they're more physical worker, then, and again, if they want to eat meat, of course they need more protein.
Yeah, so that's kind of everything we know about our food system and eating and being healthy as well. So yeah, so it just has some good basis. So what illnesses can Ayurveda treat? Is it all illnesses? If someone has a sore throat as well as ALS or dementia, does it treat everything? Is it? It's
basically, well, at one point, this was the main system of health in probably the second most populated country in the world. So this was it. So it was treating basically everything. Some things require treatment, some things don't even require treatment. Some of these diseases didn't even exist because people are taking supplement or medicine as a part of the spices every day.
Okay.
When you're using turmeric and all things every day, then there's some of the conditions we didn't even exist. I mean, very healthy skin to begin with, blood was clean. So that was the part of the daily living. But in the modern time, Ayurveda came back with much stronger influence, especially in the West, the reason being the chronic disease. So if you look at the history of disease, going back in 1980s, 1990s, roughly 17% of the disease were chronic disease, and somewhere around 68% were infectious disease. Now looking back to 2020, just coming in just 1 year,
Right.
if you look at healthy people 2020, we're looking at the system, the trend has reversed. The infectious disease is now roughly about 16.7, 60.5%, whereas the chronic disease is almost 67%.
Wow.
But the problem is in the traditional system, only thing we are doing is treatment, no cure. And we are only pacifying the symptoms.
You froze up there for a minute, if you can still hear me.
Condition,
there you go.
Arthritis, ADD, ADHD, anxiety or depression, diabetes, heart disease, hypertension or high cholesterol, and including cancer, Ayurveda has a really great success rate. And that's why Ayurveda is becoming more popular, but at least there's no side effect. So that's the first principle of Ayurveda and naturopathy. At least do not do any harm. So if at least if it doesn't help, at least it will not do any further damage.
I'm curious, in India, this is still the primary medical system, right? This is still what you're using.
It is basically equally, you can say equal. Remember, during British rule for 200 years, practice of Ayurveda was illegal. So it was the main system. And when British came, this was one of the things they have done to practice Ayurveda was illegal. Reason being, the Vaidyas or the doctors had so much power because if they need any spiritual help or any suggestion, so they were always there for them. So first thing was done, that practice of Ayurveda was illegal, and British brought their own physicians. So for almost 200 years, it was not practiced. Only small villages where a father was teaching his son, it continued to survive. And then after 1947, it came back. So India is also relearning Ayurveda. But at this point, you can say, yes, almost 50-50. But in general, if you don't look at the medicine part of it, every household is using Ayurveda. They do not know it because all the spices are Ayurvedic herbs introduced to the kitchen already.
So my follow-up question would be, is there chronic disease there like there is here in the West? And
there are.
I think is really about our food system in the first place, but
absolutely.
Yeah, which I could talk about all day. But
so here we have different kind of chronic disease. They also have, like this point in India, as India have changed in the last about 15-20 years, more prosperity, financially much better. So in that case, middle class individuals mostly have somebody who's coming to clean the house, who's coming to do some cooking. So all that work, physical work, which lady of the house will usually do, is not there anymore because somebody else is doing that job.
Okay.
So man goes to work, and ladies usually generally sitting at home watching 24-hour TV channels. And this person who in the kitchen keep making chai, which is hot, and then with that some fried food or some sweet. So diabetes is becoming very, very high. So prevalence of diabetes is really high in India at this point.
Wow.
And many of them, majority of them actually are females who are not working, sitting at home and just drinking sweet chai all day.
Mm-hmm.
So the type of disease are different. So basically, yes, chronic disease there is universal, but different types.
Understood. So, I've heard also that the gut is referred to as the second brain. And we've talked about our gut health, which obviously the herbs and how we eat all affects that. How does Ayurveda support this?
Well, in Ayurvedic medicine, when we think whatever this body is consuming is going to support every system of the body. So in that case, the primary organ which we need to be treating or balancing is the digestive system, because our heart, lungs, kidney, none of these eat directly. They are getting nutrition from the digestive system. And because of that, digestive system is also highly connected or populated with all these neurons and the blood supply, because every system is connected with that, with the digestive system, or you can call it gut in general. Also, we know that the bacteria in the large intestine are supposed to make all the vitamins for us. But again, if the bacteria are not properly maintained, if their population is increasing or going to different places, which means maybe going to the small intestine, or if there's not enough bacteria inside, then that will change how the food will be absorbed. So Ayurveda says that this is the organ which should be given the primary importance. When your digestion is normal, is optimal, you're able to absorb, then your whole body will perform in a balanced and a better way, because nutrition level is dependent upon how your body is absorbing the food. So that brings to the question of Agni, which is digestive fire or the metabolic fire. So Ayurveda says, as long as your metabolic fire or Agni is in good form, is strong, then you're able to absorb the food you're eating. But also the food has to be selected based on your body type. If you're Pitta, who is made of fire and water, and you are somebody who have a very strong metabolism, then you can consume foods which are heavier, which are in general more creamy, more dairy, so easy to absorb, more meats, more protein. But if you are somebody who is already Kapha, who is tendency of being sluggish and slow and low metabolism, then you should be eating food which have less fat, and also which are warming food, easy to digest, more soupy form, more smoothies, basically in a form which is easy to be absorbed by your body.
And as far as the gut goes, I would assume, just from hearing this, in our more Western culture here, we don't have a great flora composition. Like, we don't have as much bacteria in our gut as some of the other countries, or I would assume India as well, that can kind of break it down and absorb differently.
But also it depends on the food you eat. So basically we are dependent upon most processed food.
Yeah.
So basically, even home also, people will bring canned food or frozen food.
Microwave.
You find, or people go and get fresh food and chop and cut that food and cook it at home. So even in restaurants, they will get a huge big can of gallon or 4 gallon or 5 gallon, open that and pour into a big pan and warm it up and add some spices to make it fresh. So the food has to be cooked fresh food. So when we look at processed food or old food, especially when we talk about food, in case of plant-based food, they can survive for a few days. But when it comes to animal food, for example, looking at the milk or dairy products or looking at the meats, they had to be fresh. You can't be importing it from somewhere, which takes months to come. Even they're frozen, there's no energy left. And the chemicals we add to keep them fresh or to make them look fresh, those chemicals are also going eventually to our body and making it difficult for it to absorb the nutrients.
Right. So fresh food. And then how do you feel about, like, I eat an organic diet, so all the chemicals, the herbicides, the pesticides aren't in my system. Do you feel strongly about that as well? Is that important as you think?
It's important. Because all the foods should be organic, locally grown, because the local air, local soil, local environment which you are made of and which you're inhaling all the time.
Right.
Also supporting the vegetation there. So if you're eating the local food and local fruits, they're also going to support you better. But if something is grown in some other part of the world, that is going to be a different food. It's not going to nourish your body as well as the local food will.
Makes sense.
But again, it should be a universal given that we should not add anything to the food, because eventually that chemical is going to go to our body. So whatever, if I'm putting Miracle Grow in my bell pepper, eventually if I'm eating those bell pepper, I'm eating Miracle Grow.
I get that.
So what I would say is, if you cannot put something in your mouth, you should not put that thing in your food or in your body also. So it's very particular about putting some cream on your skin.
That's
Reason being, whatever you put on your skin is going to be absorbed by your blood capillaries and go to your body. So if you can't put it in your mouth, don't put it in your skin.
that's
So
good rule of thumb. Yeah.
if I cannot lick that cream, I should not put that on your skin also. Eventually it's going to the same blood vessels
Same
and
place.
eventually becomes part of your circulation and affect your heart and liver and kidneys eventually, because they have to filter it.
Yeah, good lesson. So as far as food goes, does it matter if you cook it or if you have it raw? Is there a preference to that? Because I would assume if you cook it, sometimes you're breaking it down, but that could be good or bad.
It could be good or bad. So basically, in general, what we're looking at is the temperature.
Okay.
So if you look at the body temperatures, 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. So 98.2 to 98.6 is good. But if our temperature is low, then it means the certain enzymes and hormones which body produces will not be produced because the temperature they require is not there. So that's the first rule of thumb. We should be checking our temperature. If temperature is low, then there is something missing inside. Metabolism is also slow and sluggish. And the chemical reactions which are there to sustain or maintain our life are not there in adequate form. So at that point, the heat comes. So in general, Ayurveda recommends that all the food should be cooked or sauteed. Most of the enzymes in the food also are released at specific temperature. So when you're eating them raw, the body they're not released. So even though you're getting all the fibers, but again, the enzymes and the nutrients which are in that food are not released without that temperature. There are some vitamins, some minerals which will be destroyed, but still you will end up absorbing more because now the food is also sauteed or hot and warm, and you're supporting the natural state of body which requires heat. Anytime you're putting a frozen food, is going to draw heat from you, and your own internal temperature will drop. At that time, you're not able to digest very well. So room temperature or hot food is recommended, well cooked or sauteed at least, not overcooked. But still, Ayurveda recommends sauteed or warm food instead of raw foods.
So now I'm curious with, this is very fascinating. So I'm curious, when food becomes spicier, like we tend to heat up, is that helpful for, say, our immune system or something like that?
Well, circulation is always something we need to be concerned about, especially now in the modern lifestyle is more push a button, and then no more than that, they can push a button from inside the house and car will start. So becoming lazier and lazier. So basically, people don't want to stand up and turn on the TV. There's a remote for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Food is coming ready-made in the can or something. You put in the microwave, everything's ready. So physical activities have gone down. With that, circulation, only thing which is keeping it moving a little faster is the heat inside the body. So spices will stimulate some of that heat and improve circulation. But again, spices are not for everyone. If somebody is pitta, which is already hot inside the body, have high temperature, they have tendency of if the pitta is already hyper, and the tendency of having acne or heat is already there, they can use some spicy food to improve circulation. So in general, spicy food actually is better for almost everybody, again, with some exceptions if somebody have aggravated kapha, aggravated pitta.
Everyone but pitta. That's
Yes.
fascinating. Fascinating. So in wrap up, Ayurvedic medicine is usually, it's more of a health maintenance program, and then you change it if someone has a particular illness or something, but it's really a way of life, a style. Is that a good way to wrap that up?
Absolutely. So what I would mention that this is actually a way of life which teaches you how to stay healthy. So it's a medicine when you are sick. Otherwise, if you're using some spices or herbs as a part of your daily routine, you maintain your health, maintain yourself, and whole family stays healthy. If you make golden milk, make it for the whole family. Everybody can use it. There's nothing there which is not used for one family member or other family member. But also like to mention that in case somebody want to learn more, there's literature out there and should learn more and incorporate that as a part of your daily routine. If somebody want to learn more, we also have a certification course in Ayurveda where you can learn for yourself, for your own health, for your family, for your friends. And eventually, if someone wants to become a practitioner later on, we offer a certification course in Ayurvedic health counseling and then an advanced course as a practitioner. You can call us at 914-875-9088 to get more information. You call me directly, 646-670-6725 to get all the information. But again, in general, we are in crossover. I'm also in New York City 1 day a week, every Thursday. Any question you have, please give me a call.
Excellent. And is there a website if someone wanted to contact you through that or read more up on it?
Yes, it's drkaushik.com. So you can just go on www.drkaushik.com. And there is information, but I'm not a very high in technology yet. I'm still learning. So at least I'll give you some basics, and from there we can move further. And again, you can call the office. There's staff there to answer your question, and otherwise you can call me directly on my cell phone number.
Perfect. We will also have all of your information as part of the show notes. So if you're listening to this podcast later or you're seeing us on YouTube, if you look in the notes below, all of that information will be included, as well as the transcripts with all of these show notes. So if you need to get in touch, we can help you out if you can't figure it out, but all the information should be below in the notes. Well, thank you so much. Is there anything I missed that you think the viewers should know? Or did we think you covered everything?
Well, basically we have covered many important points. But again, one thing I like to mention that Ayurvedic medicine, even though called medicine, is just not a medicine. It's a lifestyle, especially at the modern time when I see 1980, 85, in 1990, looking at the 10 leading causes of death, heart disease was number 1 and cancer was number 10. Now the cancer is the second leading cause of death. It has made a lot of progress. Other conditions, heart conditions, very common. Lipitor, which was mainly for high cholesterol, was used for about 47 million Americans just 3-4 years ago. Now estimated 70 million Americans are using Lipitor. Well, those are good for the companies, but again, that tells us what the state of our health. And so Ayurveda is there just to support a healthy lifestyle. It's a preventive medicine if you use that every day. But even though when you have a condition, try to find a well-trained Ayurvedic practitioner who knows that you can regain your health, you can balance your health without any strong chemicals. Even though there are times when you do need those antibiotics and chemicals. But again, you can maintain yourself without doing any further damage to your health. And if I could be any help, give me a call.
Excellent. Thank you so much for taking the time to do the interview with us and meeting with us today. I think it was a wealth of information. And if anyone's listening to this later and you have more questions, you can actually reach out to us directly or Dr. K directly, and we'll try to get those answered for you. That's about it. So thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you. Namaste.